Elon Musk is spending $16.8 billion to stop buying other people's chips. This week, Tesla and SpaceX confirmed the site and the first phase budget for a semiconductor factory in Grimes County, Texas. They are calling it Terafab, and it is the clearest signal yet that the biggest buyers in AI have decided the most dangerous position in this economy is depending on someone else's silicon. Here's the shape of it. First, what was actually announced and who is paying for it. Second, the arms race it slots into, because this was not the only chip move this week. And third, the money question. What happens to Nvidia when its best customers start building their own foundries? Hold that one, because the answer is not what the headline implies. First, the announcement. Tesla and SpaceX are committing $16.8 billion to start construction on Terafab, a chip fabrication plant in Grimes County, Texas, northwest of Houston. $16.8 billion is the first phase, not the total. For scale, that single commitment is in the neighborhood of what entire nations spend on chip subsidy programs. And look at who is writing the check. Not a chip company. A car maker and a rocket company, both controlled by one man, vertically integrating into the most complex manufacturing process humans have ever built. The logic is brutal and simple. Tesla needs chips for cars and robots. SpaceX needs them for satellites and reportedly for orbital scale AI compute, with earlier reporting pointing to plans for 10 gigawatts of Nvidia hardware by 2027. Every one of those chips currently comes through a supply chain Musk does not control, priced by vendors he does not control, on timelines he does not control. Terafab is him paying $16.8 billion to make that someone else's problem. Second, the arms race. Same week, same story, 3 more times. AMD bought Talas, an inference-chip startup that had raised around $219 million, specifically to attack Nvidia's weak flank, the inference market, where chips run models instead of training them. Firmus, an AI data center builder, raised $2 billion at a $10.5 billion valuation, and one of the names backing it is Nvidia itself. And ByteDance is reportedly training a 10 trillion parameter model to close the gap with the American frontier labs. Follow the money through those 4 stories, and you get one sentence. Compute is being treated like oil in 1905, and everyone with the balance sheet to drill is drilling. The AI trade has quietly stopped being about models. Models depreciate in months. Fabs, power contracts, and land are the assets that hold. That is why the sharpest capital in the market keeps flowing into concrete and silicon instead of apps. Third, the Nvidia question, and here is the payoff. The reflex read is that Terafab is bad news for Nvidia. Its richest customers are building the exit. The near-term truth is the opposite. A fab takes years to build and years more to yield well. TSMC's lead in advanced processes is measured in decades of accumulated process knowledge, not dollars. Until Terafab actually yields competitive chips, Musk still buys from the incumbents, and that 10 gigawatt figure would make him one of Nvidia's largest customers while he builds his own escape hatch. Nvidia, meanwhile, is hedging in the other direction, taking stakes in the data center layer, like that Firmus round, so it owns a piece of its customers the way its customers want to own a piece of its supply chain. Everyone is buying insurance against everyone else, and the premiums are measured in billions. The structural story for you is concentration. The AI economy is consolidating into a handful of balance sheets big enough to play, and the moat is no longer an algorithm. It is access to power, land, and fabrication. When a technology's barrier to entry becomes $16.8 billion of concrete, the winners stop being startups and start being empires. That is not investment advice. It is the board state, so you know which game is actually being played while the headlines argue about chatbots. So here is the question. If the future of AI belongs to whoever can pour the most concrete, is that better or worse than it belonging to whoever writes the best code? Empires are accountable in ways startups are not, and unaccountable in ways startups never had the power to be. Tell me where you land in the comments and make the case, because I read them. Blue pill, vertical integration is how industries mature. Musk building fabs is Ford building steel mills. This is normal and healthy. Red pill, 5 balance sheets are quietly buying the entire substrate of the next economy, and by the time it is obvious, there will be nothing left to buy. Both are defensible. Argue 1. We drop 3 briefs a day on this channel. Macro at 7, crypto at 9, and AI at 11 Eastern Time. Today's macro brief covers Iran's new toll on the Strait of Hormuz, and the crypto brief covers Bitcoin's fork deadline, both live now. The timeline keeps moving. We will see you in the next one.